Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. When the Surabhi cows first manifested from the aroma of ambrosial nectar, they performed severe penance for 100,000 years, just for the purpose of acquiring the spiritual merit to be the foremost of all things needed for the performance of Vedic rituals and ceremonies. Thus, only from cow milk exclusively is sanctified ghee produced for the performance of Vedic rituals. Whatever is produced from any and all other types of milk is not authorized by Vedic scriptures and thus not sanctioned by the Vedas. They can never be used in any Vedic rituals or ceremonies. So Lord Chaitanya makes a point, and also Prabhupada many times. So some people say, well, we should be doing homa, sacrifice. But the problem is, you're not going to find enough ghee. Everybody's not going to produce ghee, so it's not practical to do a sacrifice every day. It's not practical. So therefore, what's practical in this age of Kali is the sacrifice of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, everybody. At the conclusion of the Surabhi cows' austerities, Lord Brahma himself appeared before them and granted their wishes, blessing them with the benediction that cows would be eternally the sustainers of all creatures. This is why cows are sacred and most holy, and the foremost of all creatures in creation, and verily the refuge of all the worlds. The cow is extremely important regarding the destiny of the total human species in all the worlds and creation itself. That her value is impossible to overestimate. The name for cow in the Vedas is Agnya, everybody say, which means sacred, inviolable. Another name is Ahi, which means never to be killed. And another name, Aditi, which means never to be cut into pieces. Some scholars and Indologists in India, as well as from Western countries, without having ever experienced the Vedic culture as a way of life, have speculated that cows and other animals were sacrificed in Vedic ceremonies. They take unorthodox interpretation of obscure verses in the Vedas out of context to postulate their point of view. Examples of this are given. First, in the Saptapata Brahman, there is a gross interpretation by Western scholars and echoed by Indologists around the world that the great sage Yajnavalkya would eat the tender meat of cows and bulls. The word Denu, which they have translated as cow, factually refers to the milk products of the cow only and not the cow herself. And the Sanskrit word anadu factually refers to the grains produced by the bull from plowing the fields. What exactly Yajnavalkya has stated in this verse is that he can eat what is amsala. The interpreters, some being ignorant and some being not so ignorant, of the rules of Panini Yoga Sutras, and also Sanskrit, is the authority on all matters concerning the rules of Sanskrit grammar. And according to Panini, the word amsala can only mean nourishing and strength bestowing. And in the Amarakosha, that's another Sanskrit dictionary, in the Amarakosha it states that amsala is mamsala, which never applies to flesh, tender or otherwise. Mamsala specifically applies to cream and sweets made from milk products, as well as fresh and dried fruits, though there is no basis, according to Shastra, for translating the word amsala as flesh. Secondly, some scholars, with an extremely limited fund of knowledge, want to postulate that meat was an essential ingredient of Madhuparka. Anyone who does pujari work, they have this thing, they give the deities Madhuparka. Because so they think meat is an ingredient of Madhuparka. That's what you give to the deities. Because of one verse in the Rig Veda, which equates Indra, as having the strength of a bull, and also mentions the sweet drink Madhupeya. So they falsely interpret that translation to say that bull meat was a part of Madhuparka. In this way, due to their academic status, they are able to mislead the public. The root word madhu means, how do you translate? Sweet. Sweet or honey. Sweet. In this way, due to their they are able to mislead. The root word madhu means sweet, and is sometimes even referred to as, say it, honey. In the Monier-Williams Sanskrit English Dictionary, the meaning of Madhuparka is offerings of honey and milk, and sometimes containing equal parts of curd and ghee to a respected guest. Nowhere in the Vedas can be found any reference to meat being an ingredient of Madhuparka. So I looked up this Madhuparka in the ISKCON deity manual. Here is real Madhuparka. Is composed of the auspicious elements of cow, such as milk, yogurt, ghee, honey, and sugar. It is a high-class refreshment given to a respected person. Alternatively, you may offer a mixture of yogurt, honey, and ghee. If honey is unavailable, you may use gud, raw sugar. If ghee is unavailable, you may use puffed rice. And if yogurt is unavailable, you may use milk. According to some authorities, Madhuparka should have 4 parts honey and 1 part of each of the remaining ingredients. So other examples, like the 2 previous false translators, have found useful for their obscure translations. But the clear, direct, unequivocal statements found throughout the Vedas against cow killing, they ignore. So here are some quotes. In the Rig Veda, quote, "One who partakes of human flesh, the flesh of a horse or of another animal, and deprives others from milk by slaughtering cows, such a fiend does not desist. Then you may cut off their heads by your prowess as king." So that was the king's duty, like that. In the Atharva Veda, those who eat cooked or uncooked flesh, who eat eggs and embryos, are following an evil addiction that must be put to an end. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find this: those who are ignorant of the absolute truth and who believe they are virtuous, although wicked and arrogant, who kill animals without any feeling or remorse or fear of punishment, are devoured by those very same animals in their next birth. That's the law of karma. In the Mahabharata, we find the following: that wretch among men, pretending to follow the path of righteousness prescribed in the Vedas, who would kill living entities out of greed of flesh, will certainly go to hellish regions. In the Manu Sanghita, a guru, a teacher, a father, a mother, a Brahmin, a cow, and a yogi are never to be killed. Now I find this. Even in the Old Testament of the Bible, we find a quote: "He that kills an ox is if he has slain a man." So it's even there in the Bible. You kill an ox, that's just the same as killing a man. One that sacrifices a lamb as if he has slit a dog's neck. One that offers as an oblation, one who offers it as an oblation, I can't read that. I'm not going to read that. It's too gross. Chant Hare Krishna. Cow's milk is the most compatible with human mother's milk than any other species in existence. This is because the DNA of the cow was specifically constructed to be harmonious with human DNA. So it can be clearly understood that cow DNA was designed so humans could benefit from cow products such as milk, cheese, butter, cream, and yogurt. So in closing, this knowledge is highly esoteric and confidential and incomprehensible to those outside the purview of Vedic culture. It can only be known by that segment of society that is spiritually developed. So, did you understand anything from tonight's discourse? That means, what does it say here? Spiritually developed. Give yourselves a hand. Now, after I did all this research, I got a text message from Krishna to end tonight's, and you're going to lead the kirtan for Arti. Do you want the drum machine? Okay. Now it's tricky to stay with the, I'll crank it up, but you got to stay with it because tendency is to, okay. So, after all this, I got a text message from Krishna. Please repeat. Go koti danang grahane khagasya prayaga gangodaka kalpavasa yagyayutang meru sarvana darnang govinda kirter na samang shatang shai. So the important word, repeat, Govinda Kirter. Please repeat. Even if one distributes 10 million cows in charity, So we heard so much tonight about giving cows away in charity, right? So listen now. So even if one does, okay, repeat, and you do it during the eclipse of the sun, or you live at the confluence of the Ganges and Yamuna, for millions of years, or you give a mountain of gold in sacrifice to brahmanas, that person does not earn 1/100th part of the merit derived from chanting Hare Krishna. So please remember that. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalo nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva. I rest my case. I hope you're satisfied. This was a tough assignment. All right. Yes?